Hello everyone, this is Serious Trivia, and today we'll be taking a deep dive into the Nurgle Warband upgrade tree for the Warrior of Chaos rework in the upcoming Champions of Chaos DLC. As we can see, there are only 12 units in the Nurgle Warband upgrade tree, which is actually quite disappointing, as this is one of the most generic Warband trees from the 4 Chaos Gods. And starting once again with the Marauders, we now have the Mark of Nurgle Marauders, which, when compared to the standard War of Chaos Marauders, have 5 main differences. First, the Nurgle marked units will all have slightly more health, in the ballpark of slightly less than a 10% increase. Next, all Nurgle marked units will have poison attack, which will mainly reduce the enemy's unit's damage. Then there's a 5-point hit to speed, and finally a trade-off between melee attack and melee defense, where all Nurgle marked units will lose 5 points of melee attack, but gain 5 points of melee defense. Overall, the design philosophy behind Nurgle units are high health defensive tanks that bog down the enemy and slowly grind them down in a poisoned, weakened state. Then in addition to the standard Marauders of Nurgle, there is also a great weapons variety, which has a trade-off between the ranged block chance shield for more damage that favors armor piercing and a slightly higher charge bonus. Then for the next tier, we have the Chaos Warriors of Nurgle, which comes in the standard and the great weapons variety again. The specializations remain the same. So just looking at the stat upgrade from the Mark of Nurgle itself, we have the higher health, poison attack, and higher melee defense, but loses out on speed and melee attack. Finally, we see this exact same setup repeat once more for the Chosen of Nurgle, which has the standard and a great weapons variety, again, and offers pretty much the same bonuses and trade-offs when it comes to the Mark of Nurgle itself. And the only other exception we have here is there's a 5% reduction to the range block chance when compared to the standard Warrior of Chaos variety, which has 60% range block chance, while the Chosen of Nurgle only has 55%, which is actually the same for the Chosen of Sinesh as well. Overall, the Nurgle infantry choices are just slightly tankier version of the standard Warrior of Chaos, with Poison Effect being their main trump card in terms of defining their playstyle. The lack of a halberd variety does limit their flexibility in terms of negating and stopping large enemies, so definitely consider mixing and matching a few of those halberd undivided Warrior of Chaos units into your armies. Then aside from your typical Marauder, Chaos Warrior, and Chosen, you can also opt into the Forsaken route, which still offers the same bonuses and trade-off from the Mark of Nurgle. But in addition to that, they will also cause Fear for a nice little bonus on top. And given their high charge bonus, which can supplement their diminished melee attack on offense, I think the Forsaken of Nurgle is actually the superior choice here when compared to the Undivided variety. Then upgrading from the Forsaken of Nurgle, we can have the Spawn of Nurgle, which in addition to all the same Mark of Nurgle changes, there is also the added Cloud of Flies ability. Now, Cloud of Flies simply adds 9 points of melee defense to your unit when it's engaged in melee, meaning that the Spawn of Nurgle will have a 14-point melee defense advantage against the standard Chaos Spawn. And given the glass cannon nature of the spawns with only 10 armor, this boost does greatly increase their survivability. Then moving on to the cavalry options, we have the Marauder Horsemen of Nurgle with throwing axes. Unfortunately, there is simply nothing to be excited about this unit, as the only change here, compared to its undivided counterpart, is going to be those same 5 changes in the Mark of Nurgle. In terms of upgrade for this unit, there is no tier 2 cavalry option for the Nurgle upgrade tree, but there are the Chaos Chariots of Nurgle at tier 2. But once again, there is nothing exciting here, as the only changes are the Mark of Nurgle changes. And with no Gorebeast Chariots upgrade available on this Mark for Nurgle upgrade tree, I would recommend sticking with the Undivided varieties for the Chariots. And that leaves us with the Chaos Knights of Nurgle, which includes the Standard and the Lance varieties. And unsurprisingly, the only changes to these 2 units are once again those same 5 changes for the Mark of Nurgle, which for a charge-heavy unit such as the Chaos Knights, the decrease of melee attack doesn't hurt it as much as infantry options, but at the same time, the speed loss does hurt, and the melee defense improvement is also less important as well. So at the end of the day, the mark for Nurgle Warband upgrade tree is probably one of the least exciting ones of the 4 Chaos Gods, as it has the most limited roster of units to receive the mark. And for these 12 units, the mark changes are oftentimes the only changes that are given to the units. Yet at the end of the day, these stat trade-offs still nets to an overall improvement for most of the units, especially if you factor in the poison debuffs, and the design philosophy for most Nurgle associated factions to have high health, defensive focused units that are primed for regeneration, as they slowly grind out wins in battles against weakened enemy units suffering from the poison effects. And with that, our Mark of Nurgle Warband upgrade guide is complete. Hopefully you'll find this helpful in your upcoming Warriors of Chaos campaigns, and as always, leave a like to help out the channel, and I'll see you all same time tomorrow as we'll do a similar deep dive video to cover the core Mark of Chaos Warband upgrade tree for Valkyrie's faction in the upcoming Champion of Chaos DLC. So until then, bye!